Go ahead.
All right, let's start it out. Smalls, we had,
Don't be too loud.
give
I'm with
us a
people.
little background.
All right, hold on a second. Let me. Okay. First of all, I'm staying at the Hilton Resort here in Phoenix. It's an unbelievable place. It really is. Uh, we had. I told you about the first games that we had. Everybody. North Carolina State. The first game against Purdue, we got beat by like 14, but it was close. Then what's his name stumbled. O'Connell stumbled a little bit. Looked like he was hurt. He came out of the game, and we never recovered. We lost, and everybody did the Irish goodbye. Not one phone call, not one text, nothing. Completely haven't seen a soul. Then there was a guy, haven't seen a soul. It was like the old Irish goodbye from the old movie, James Cagney movie. And then to top it off, not only did I get anything, I had what's his name stay with me. He got the bird flu. I'm not even kidding you. So before I could get home, no, before the loss, I wound up staying for the second game, the Connecticut game. They did the Irish bye. I didn't even see the guy who was staying with me from the Rising Stars. He had the bird flu, completely left. The only thing he had was a pair of underwear he left and change on the counter.
As if he never existed.
Oh my God, man, they went dead. So now I still have 4 tickets for the game. If somebody knows how to get on and sell them, they go for 2,000-3,000 a game. And I'll tell you, Vinny, the next business I'm going to start it with Steven and you on this network. Tickets. I want to start a Ticketron company. I'm not kidding you, man. I could sell these tickets for $2,000 a pop. It's crazy. But anyway, look, I'm by the pool. It's it's the last game of the year right now for basketball. It's UConn versus Purdue. 9 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock here. It's just iconic, man. It was an iconic week. The whole run through North Carolina State, going all the way through, and just getting to the finals and losing. But everybody's gone but me. And
Last man
that's it.
standing.
Man on an island. Well,
I'm a
I
different
mean,
human being. I'm a chameleon, man. You know.
Well,
it-
I'm
it-
seeing right now that UConn is a 6 point favorite in the game. So we should pick on that one. Who's going to win that one?
Let me go first, because since I'm the guy that knows what he's doing all the time. So listen, the I'm going. I'm definitely going to take the points and everything. I'm going with UConn all the way, and I say it's going to be close until the end. Then it's a blowout. They'll win by 24 points.
So you got
I
UConn.
I got UConn all the way. Can't lose.
What do you
It's a
think,
no-brainer.
Steven?
say 6 points.
Yeah.
I think UConn's going to win easy. I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think we got a consensus on this one. I like UConn to put them away tonight. They just look too deep. They look deep, UConn, and they run and they rebound. And I think that the big guy on UConn is going to be able to handle Edie much better than other guys have. And they got a second guy that could also
They got a second
handle.
guy as good as the first guy.
Yeah. Purdue to stay in the game, they're going to really have to shoot a very high percentage. They're going to have to hit the threes like crazy. If they don't, I think at some point UConn wears them down, and I don't see a 20-something point game, but I can see a double-digit win.
And that's tonight's going to conclude the basketball season. But we had a huge week in lacrosse, and you got to start at the midweek game of Cuse traveling to Cornell. Huge implications in this game. Cornell goes down 7-0 in the first quarter and ultimately comes back. This is some view of Smalley's mouth.
Smalls, you're showing us your nostrils. Sit
All
down and
right,
hold the phone. Can you sit
all right,
down while you do this? Is
all
it
right.
hard to sit?
Distract you
I'm
more.
sitting down. I'm sitting down. Go right along with it, guys.
Doing a dental examination of Smalley.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Guys, get right into it. Go ahead. Come on. I got very busy today. Go ahead.
There you go.
So Cornell goes down 7-0. They come back, dramatic game, goes to overtime, and Syracuse loses their third game of the year in OT. A key part of this game, coach is thrown out of the game for Syracuse. They get a 3-minute penalty, and it's just another one of those midweek crazy games. Ends in a dramatic win for the Big Red. What do you think? Where does this game? I think this game's got a lot of implications on the whole season, actually. I think they'll be in committee meetings looking back at that game.
What's your take, Smalls,
What's the main question you guys are asking?
about the game, about the Cornell Syracuse game?
What are the
First of
And
implications
all,
what?
of the game?
here's what I think. Anytime a coach gets thrown out of the game, it's a major distraction. Whether you want to blame the coach or blame anybody, that's a disaster. At all times, you got to keep yourself under control. I don't care what coach it is who gets thrown out, because what it does is it disrupts the players for many, many minutes in the game because they don't know what's going on. So I blame that on all the coaching staff for that loss, and they got to redo themselves, get better at what they're doing. You can't be getting thrown out of a game, right? What do you get thrown out for, though? That's what I want to know.
Well, what it's clear on the particular play he was complaining about that Cornell was offsides and should have lost possession of the ball. The ball went into the offensive half. The guy took the ball behind and he scored a goal to make the score 7-2. Obviously, he was complaining about that, and he was right, the coach. I heard, I didn't see, they said there was some contact with an official that is an automatic out and you got to leave the premises and everything else. We didn't see the extent of any contact. I heard some rumors of the referee actually pointing his finger in the coach's face and maybe like the coach going like, get your finger out of my face kind of thing. So when they panned to the box on the video, you didn't see a commotion. It's not like the coach had him in a headlock or something. It was not really a commotion. It was calmed down pretty, quickly, and they made him leave. But Vin, we've been in. I think about the games when we played with against Toyota. The one in 97. Or 97 or 97 and 98. 97, we were down 9-2 in the first quarter, and 98 we were down 8-0 at the end of the first quarter. Similar. Now, what's the one thing when you're having a lead, or if you're the other team that's down, what can change the game to make you come back into something like that?
Penalties.
Penalties, exactly, and that's what started to happen. So Syracuse had the lead, but they get that 3-minute penalty, and they get a couple of other penalties, and the game starts to unravel for them from there. So that was, that's a big key. I mean, to start to give that game back. The leads can
Yeah,
evaporate.
in all due respect, you also be rating the referees and stuff. That should be a fine, like in the NBA. You can't go there and rate the officials. We have a problem in this society. Everybody's berated. Okay, they blew a call. Let the call be blown. You're going back and you're like you're a prima donna. He's going to learn from this. I guarantee that coach and that coaching staff, it's actually a great lesson for them that it won't happen in the playoffs to them because they learn from it. You don't sit there and smash them. I see the way people treat these people. It's not right. It's 100% not right. You lost the game, and it's actually the best lesson to ever happen to the coach because he'll never do it again. You know?
What do you think, Vin?
Well, like you both have said, we didn't see the actual thing and what caused it. Something there was an action and a reaction to something. He got thrown out, but you know Syracuse, if they're going to be a championship caliber team, when you're up like they were, they had the momentum. This took a little momentum. From what I remember, I don't think they scored too many goals, if any, on that penalty.
2 goals.
Two, they got two during that time when they
Remember?
were man down. Well, that
Yeah.
hurts. That
You know,
definitely
well,
changed their
it was,
momentum.
it was 7. It was 7-1. It's 7-1. The guy makes the goal on the offside play that he's complaining about. And based on the penalty, they hold it for the end of the first quarter, and they end up with 2 more goals. It ends up 7-4 by the end of that.
Yeah, well, that clearly, that's a momentum killer. Syracuse was on a tear in the beginning, but putting that to the side, you're still in a three. You still got a 3 goal lead. They had every opportunity to still win that game. And they better learn from it because there's going to be a lot of tough games coming down the road if they're going to try to contend for a championship, and they can't be distracted by things like this because they happen. I mean, and I've been there, and I allowed it to distract me sometimes. But if you don't have an ability to put it behind you, things are going to snowball. And for Cornell, they showed great resilience. They just kept playing, and from what I saw, Syracuse, I think they played. They played what the Saturday before that Tuesday. They were in a tough game that Saturday. I think. I think they were a little worn down for the Cornell game. I think they came out fast, but they looked fatigued in the fourth quarter. Cornell looked a little like they were a little more conditioned, and they reeled them in, and they made the plays when they had to. It was exciting as anything to watch. And, with Syracuse, you're either going to go one of two ways. You're going to let this affect you for the rest of the year, and that's not good. But on the other hand, it's an opportunity to learn something from it and take it to the next level because if they can bottle up what they were doing in that first quarter when they got that 7-0, 7-1 lead, they're going to be very tough to beat. So,
That's a good point, Vinny. That's a
there's
real good point.
positives there. They show an ability to score goals in bunches. They're tough on defense at times. Although, in this game, how tough can you say their defense is? Ultimately, they gave up 17 goals in
Yeah.
overtime. That's a lot of goals. Both teams
I,
offensively were scoring. I mean, the defense just was not there for either team that night. So, whether or not,
I don't want to put everything. I don't want to put everything on that penalty because you sit there and you say, okay, 7-0 to 7-4. That game was at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. Syracuse still had a 16-10 lead.
yeah, they
They
still
were
were up
leading
by 6.
16-10.
They got tired. They tired, and the other team reeled them in, and started playing, making good plays. They got the plays when they needed them. The face-offs, from what I remember, were fairly even for a while. I mean, Syracuse had the best of it. I think overall they definitely, but I think Cornell got a couple key ones. And not because the guy cleanly won, but he did cleanly win. I mean, I never saw a game. It's the craziest thing. The guy ends up he ends up picking up in regulation, the end of regulation. He pops it forward, Silos, kid from Manhasset, runs down. I think they were a second away from calling a timeout, but they let it play out, which was the right thing, and he ends up scoring a goal. Puts him up by a goal with 10.1 seconds or something to go, where you would think now it's over. Syracuse shows their resilience. They score a goal with 1 second to go.
Game of
And
the
now
year
you
it
got
was.
overtime.
Yeah.
And then you got chances in overtime left and right for both teams until finally, like I said, looked like fatigue. You got a shorty on a shorty running down the right side. He's not really a threat where he was. The pole got a little too far off of a guy like Kirst. The kid rolls back, throws it to Kirst, who could really shoot the ball hard. I could tell you that. That kid can shoot hard. And he rips a low-to-low shot. I don't know. I think it might have went through the goalie's legs. Who played? And I'm not blaming the goalie. The goalie I thought had a good game. But listen, if you're either going to go one or two ways, Cornell, I think this could skyrocket them. They're feeling themselves at this point, winning a game like that. And then on the other hand, you got Syracuse, who loses a terrible game. But
Could this
so we'll
cost
see.
them? Could excuse me, Vince, for chiming in here. Could this cost them this season? Could this one loss cost them the whole season not getting into the playoffs? Could it actually be?
If Syracuse has 2 games left, right? They got Virginia and they got Carolina this weekend. If they lost both, right? That means they wouldn't even make the ACC
Oh
tournament.
my God!
If they don't make the ACC tournament, I think it would be pretty difficult to put them in to the NCAA playoffs without,
Right,
you know. But I think, obviously the Virginia game, they're playing up in the dome. It's a big day up there. It's Paul Gates' retirement jersey, retiring Paul's jersey. They're trying to build the biggest crowd they ever had at a game, which they probably will. So they're going to be sky high to win that one that day. And they're playing Virginia, who's currently number 2 in the country. So they got a lot of incentive there. But you know, they got North Carolina this week. They better not overlook North Carolina, because if somehow they were to lose to North Carolina, and I don't give anybody a W so easy. I think Carolina's capable, but if because they're playing down in Carolina, so let's say Carolina pulls an upset and beats Syracuse. Syracuse is basically playing Virginia the next week for their lives, in my opinion. Some people think they've done enough this year to make it. If they're playing Virginia in the dome, I think it's on the line there. I think if they lose the next 2 games, that would mean that the ACC would have to get 4 teams into the tournament, and I'm not so sure. Although
no,
a
no,
lot of
no. I
crazy
told you
things
that
are
ain't gonna
happening.
happen.
Well,
That's
there's a
not
lot
gonna
of
happen.
crazy things happening in some of these other conferences that it looks like some teams that look like there might be 2 might go down to 1, and if some of those go down to 1, then that gives Syracuse a little play still.
Well, let's talk about a little bit that we talked about Syracuse's chances, and then the fact that they got to play Carolina. Carolina played the ACC schedule is going on. Carolina played Virginia, and Virginia just pretty much handled them. They it ended up 14-6. But from early on, it really wasn't close. So this ACC, and are they gonna have the resilience to maybe come up with a win, maybe beat a Syracuse or Duke, at the end of the year? Are they going to be able to make a little noise? Only takes one good effort, and they're capable with the talent they have to putting an effort out there and be a spoiler for somebody. So
Yeah, listen, they definitely can play the role of spoiler in this whole thing, and I think they want wins. I don't think they just want to be spoilers. They want to build on going for the next years to come, because they are a young team. They're starting 2 freshmen in attack. They're young at a lot of spots. So you got to cut them a little break for this year. But
I'm done with Syracuse. Can I chime in on something here? I want to talk about North Carolina's chances of making it with Joe Bresci. If they win out, do they have a chance of actually getting into the playoffs?
win out. If they win
Yeah,
out, meaning the ACC tournament and everything,
yeah.
they definitely would
they
make
were
it.
in.
Oh, so that's like basketball. They automatically get a bid.
Well, I think they said yesterday during the game they got an ACC tournament, but it's not an automatic qualifier. But if you win
I
the
think.
ACC, you're getting in.
Listen,
Right.
man, you never know. Look what North Carolina State did in basketball. It's possible to do it. You run the tape, you win 4 or 5 games in a row, you go on a streak, you're in. I mean, you got like coaches Joe Bresci, you got all those guys over there, Petramali, you got
Well,
the
you'd have to get hot at the right time. There's no question. You know, what they've shown so far, it's going to be a tall task. I mean, the couple of the games they lost a tough game to Army. If they could have won that game, they had another game. I don't remember another game they lost close. I think by a goal. But that's signs of a young team. But
yeah,
if I was playing them, I wouldn't take them lightly. Let's put it that way.
right, yeah,
Well, the other game in the ACC that finished off, the weekend, yesterday, and then makes your eyebrows go up a little bit. Also, is Notre Dame, it was a battle. They beat Duke down in Duke, and they seem to have owned Duke over the last couple of years. I think that's the fourth or fifth time in a row Notre Dame has beaten Duke.
How did they beat him? On man up? What, a lot of penalties?
No, I mean it was just a solid game, and Notre Dame always seemed to be up a few goals. They separated themselves, by 3 or 4 goals, and every time that Duke got it to within two, got it to one, they tied it even at one point. As soon as they tied it, I think at 11, Notre Dame immediately scored the next 2 goals and got up 2 again. So every time Duke brought itself back,
Right.
they just couldn't get over the top and get ahead. There was the one, I'm not sure what the score was at the time. There was that controversial goal where Denenza, he's straight on up top, shoots a ball dead off the crossbar down. They look at it on the review, but they don't overturn it on the field. It was called no goal. But, you know, uh, geometry will tell you that ball had to have gone in to kick out like the way it did, unless there was a rock sitting inside the goal, because I know it's not a turf field, but it went down and out. So that's like the spin on the ball having to be from inside out. And so those calls can make a difference in tight games.
That's
But
a good point. I want to give a shout out to my man Balsamo, Charles. I think Charles is going to get going the next 3 games. I got a funny feeling he's going to put it on. Put a little pressure. He'll come. He scores some goals. They get some. They win the next 2 or 3 games, and I think they'll be okay. I think Duke's going to be all right. They struggled during the season a little bit, here and there, but they have the best. What do you call it? The PSI, the best. What is that called, Vin?
the PS,
Yeah, they're filling up.
what are
They're
we
filling
calling
air
it?
in their
What
tires.
are we
That's what they
calling?
need to know their PSI.
Oh
Well,
my
well,
God.
let me just say this. Give a lot of credit to Notre Dame playing on the road. They say the place was a sellout. Where they play, Duke's home field is not a large, it's a nice facility, but it only holds, I think they said 3,500. The place was sold out. The place was rocking. Notre Dame, I think, had as many fans there as the Duke fans. They traveled well. They knew it was a big game, and it was a great battle, back and forth. I mean, Notre Dame took control of the game, and I
Did
think you have to give credit. You have to give credit. You know, look, and Quinton and Cork and Anish, they were on it. I thought they gave great analysis of that game, and in that, they identified Duke's game plan, which was to limit the guy who scores a lot of goals, Taylor. He's very good inside, and limit his opportunities. They were so focused on staying on him, they thought they would win the other matchups. Now, Brow is a great defender. Everybody talks about him as a first team All American, but it wasn't his day yesterday. Kavanaugh was, dancing on him. He did a number to the point where they actually switched him off, and that happens sometimes. Guy just has your number. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's just a little quick for him, whatever. But uh,
you
but
talk? He's the favorite for to Orifon.
well, listen, he's clear, but it's more than what they do and just the points they get. They set the tone, him and his brother. They have a swagger, they got an attitude, they play with a chip on their shoulder all the time, and they're relentless in every part of the game. And I think that rubs off on a lot of their teammates, and they know at the end of the day, even when they're a little bit down, they
Maybe
know they got the stopper on the other end with Entenmann, who's good for 2 or 3 unbelievable saves a game. That always helps when you got a guy like that, when
I'll
your
tell you,
defense
he's the top
breaks down.
3 goalies, 3 to 5 goals of all time. I think. Give him another year if he plays like this. I think he's one of the top of all time. I mean, you guys know better than me, but he just seems relentless with these saves. Some of these shots could go in. He just saves them.
Well, a lot of them could have went in, but look, he played a good game. I thought that they made a good point yesterday in that game, the announcers, in that, because O'Neill really didn't get going. I think he was scoreless in the first half. He ended up with 2 goals on the day. He got one when he got a switch and he had a short on him, and they didn't slide fast enough to him, and he put one in He did an underneath dodge and scored, and he scored one other one on a blast, his typical blast. But his shooting's been a little bit off. He's been off cage. But the fact that you're getting 2 goals out of him, it's not enough. If they're going to win, they need more out of him. And I'm not picking on him. I think that the announcers made the point that Duke seems to be content with running their offense, and doesn't matter. Like everybody's interchangeable, and we run our offense. It's not like they're trying to really pick apart a matchup or anything like that. And when you have a generational player like this guy, that they keep saying is a generational player, yes, he does things I've never seen before. Cork was making the comparison to Gary Gait and Paul, with size and speed and stick skills. He's not far off with that, but the difference is I never saw, and of course they played a midfield, but I didn't see an ability for any team to take those guys out of a game the way Brennan gets taken out of a game. And whether or not you want to say Brendan O'Neill takes himself out of the game, he's not aggressive enough. He's not. Let's put it this way: if you put the mentality the Kavanaughs have in Brendan O'Neill's body, you got an unstoppable force, because they're
All right,
doing
so
it.
so why not
And
run
and
him out of
I
the
and, I, and
box,
I'm
Vinny, the whole
and
game?
I'm not picking on him in particular. I just
You
think
are
that
picking on him.
I
You are
no,
picking
I
on him.
think that the coaches need to. I think the coaches need to find a way to have him much more involved. They got to identify quickly in a game when he looks like he's sitting back, and
Matchups,
say
yeah.
the next 5 plays we want Brendan with the ball, and get him going. Because if you don't get him going, you're not going to win.
So
You're
then run
just
him out of
not.
the box. Why do it late in the game? Change up. What's the worst that can happen? What's the
No,
worst? Run him out of the box in the first period. Change the whole game up.
well, you could do that, and they ran him out of the box. I think with about 2 minutes to go, if that, late in the
Why? Why
game.
do it like that? Why?
I listen. That's their coaching decision. They know their players better than we do. That's for sure. They
But
practice
Vin,
with them
let
every
me
day.
get a word in here,
But
Vin. Let me get one word. In all due respect, they're definitely not there like they were last year. I agree with you. But there's also a time they're very close. So there's a point where they can turn it on and almost they still can win it. They still can win it. So right now I say it's Notre Dame, Virginia. I agree. But to say they're out of it is a shortcoming. They have the players and the pieces that could turn it on in the playoffs.
I don't
If
think
they,
anybody has said they're out of it. Who said they're out of it?
I didn't say you said bloggers and people online and stuff. That's
No,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
think that. I don't think anybody thinks they're out of it. I don't think. I
What
don't
say
think
you,
they.
Stephen?
I think there. I think if we'll talk a little bit more about where the conference standings and that is, but I think I don't think they're sitting where Virginia and Notre Dame are sitting. I think they're sitting much like Syracuse. Like, am I going to be the third team, or am I going to meet a fourth team, or maybe potentially being the fourth team outside looking in of the NCAA tournament? I mean, they're definitely in that range. Not to say they can't go and win the ACC tournament, because they can. They have the talent and the ability to do so. And I think Duke has to really, understand that offensively, there's not a possession that O'Neal shouldn't touch the ball on. When they're working that ball around, it should touch his stick at least once during
But
any
but they
possession.
but they've shown a lot of flaws this year, more than last year. They're showing flaws in that, um, they played BU played them to a 1 goal game. I'm not knocking again. BU's a competent team. They're very good. I like the way they play. They play strong defense. The goalie's been good. They got 2 senior, Perfetto and Dialto on attack. They're very good. But most people would think that Duke would handle BU. No, they didn't handle it. It was a tie game with less
But
than
it
three
was it
minutes to
was
go.
also a monsoon, also.
Vinny,
No,
their
all
man
right.
up
It
is
was it was
also
bad weather, but that cuts both ways. But they had that game. Then they had the Syracuse game up in the dome where they laid an egg, and they only were able to score 4 goals after they're scoring 20 against some of these schlub teams,
Vinny, but their
and now all
man
of a
up is
sudden they
down.
score
Their man
four.
up is
So
down.
there's flaws in their character, so to say. I don't know what you want to say. There's flaws in. Is it their compete level that's flawed? Is it their toughness? What is it that's
A
that's
little bit
that's
of each,
holding
a
them
little bit of
back?
everything.
Well, but
They're
can you?
stagnant. They're stagnant.
The question is, are they going to be able to straighten that out?
I'll
Are they
tell you
going
how
to?
you do it, Vinny. I would change out. I would bring the electric rod in. I'd bring Balsamo in, and put him on man up. Their man up is down. You got to change a few things around.
He
I
is
bring
on man
O'Neal.
up. He is on man up.
All right, so
Their
keep
man
my
up.
man up.
Their man up's not bad. Their man up is at a number. I think it's
What's
in
their
the high
percentage on
40s.
man up?
Yeah, but they're high 40s. I think for the
Oh,
season,
are
which
they?
is
Oh, I
not,
didn't know that.
which is not bad. A team. Look, they got all the ingredients. I think what the biggest ingredient is how
But give
much
me
they.
the three main changes they have to do, Vin. I say you got to change up O'Neal. Give me the
I'll
three
give you
things.
number one. I think their their thirst to win has to be much stronger. That's it. Their compete level has to be stronger. They have to. Somebody on
Ground
the team.
balls, they got to
Look,
have swagger.
Zawada.
Yeah.
Zawada came in as a 50-year guy, had an excellent career at Michigan. He's their all-time scorer. All of that. He was on fire. He was one of the top scorers in the country.
Right.
Last 2-3 games, he's down for whatever reason. And yesterday in that game, he did get a bunch of switches where he had shorts on him, where he just wasn't really able to take advantage of it. you know so something is missing right now, and like I
Yeah.
said, to me, it's got to do with, you know sometimes when you're a team like a Duke, that they were crowning them champs before the season started. Everybody looked at them as, they were the team to beat. You said it, Smalls. How many we look
Yeah.
as we look through your
And I
ears,
still say it.
as we're looking at your earlobes right now. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Scratching your ass or something? What are you
Right.
actually doing with that phone? Can't you put
Take
it down
it
and look into
take
it?
it easy.
What are you doing?
Let me take it in. Let me take it in. I'll take it in.
He's got a towel on. He's going in the pool. He's soaking his feet, and he's on a podcast. Oh God, this guy.
I got going into the hold on. I'll get in there.
Just stay where you are. Just hold the camera
I
straight.
can't.
That's
I
all.
got to get in the room.
Oh, you're gonna lose the connection. Anyway, get off Duke, because there's a bunch of other teams. I thought Virginia looked great this weekend. There you go. Told you we're gonna lose them. Yeah, this guy. You went off now. You see, stay where you are. So there's a lot of capable teams. This is an exciting year because it looks like maybe from 1 to 8 anybody could win it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm gonna pull up the rankings for you. Let's see. We got Notre Dame and Virginia 1 and 2. Now Hopkins, they moved Hopkins. Hopkins had a nice win over Penn
Penn
State,
State.
overtime win. They moved them all the way up. It always seems like Hopkins gets the benefit of the rankings.
No.
They always love to push them up, and then when they're not going so hot, they never get hit as hard going down the ladder.
They
But
got.
they're up to 3.
They got that Murata.
And Duke, even though they lost, Duke didn't drop that much. They only dropped 1 spot. Maryland, off of their win, they bumped themselves up. Georgetown significantly up, moves up 3 spots. Syracuse drops 3 spots, after the loss. Cornell's up, Cornell's up 5 spots. They go
Hey,
all the way
Vinny.
up to 8. You know,
Vinny, I'm sorry to cut you off. See, Vinny,
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to a special friend that's been getting in touch with. I'm sorry I haven't got back to him. Josh Maholland. Big Josh.
exactly. I saw Josh at the hockey game
Oh
with his
man,
son.
the Irish Wander's son. He's amazing, man. I haven't given him a shout out. I've been so busy with the Final Four. The guy's been contacting me. Josh, if you're listening, I love you, bro. You're amazing, man. I tell you, one thing about Josh, he travels thousands and thousands of miles to see his son. That alone puts him in the record for the greatest father of all time. I give him so much credit, man. Following his son day in, day out, man. How are they
Well,
doing? They had a tough loss, man.
Aiden had he. I saw him make a nice goal. He had some nice plays, but they got down and they didn't recover and they got beat by Rutgers and they're out of the top 20. They got them in there.
Oh, they're
Michigan,
not in the top 20?
they're in the receiving votes now.
Oh,
So,
shit.
you see there's a lot of changes. Teams are going to go up and down. They're all playing each other. It's the conference standings now. Look at Army. Army was number one until Smalley said they were going to go undefeated for the season, and next thing you know, they're 12, and plummeting, So and not even, they're probably they could finish third or fourth in their conference right now.
Is Colgate the sleeper? Is Colgate a team that could come in, sneak in the playoffs? Could they possibly do it?
They'd have to win the Patriot League.
Oh, they got to. Can they do it?
Sure. Why not?
Wow, that's
They
fucking
just beat the team that looked like the best team in the Patriot League. But although BU beat Army, didn't BU beat Army?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
beat Army.
That was when they broke their win streak. So that Patriot League tournament's going to be interesting.
So here's if you look here on this screen, you see here's the records of if you go to the right, you see the ACC. You see Duke is 0-2 in the ACC right now. And they
Yeah.
got to play Virginia. So
Yeah.
they're going to be 0. They could be 0-3. They need that Virginia game.
Yeah.
That's a very important game at this point. That's I mean, 1-3. Well, I mean, it depends on what Carolina does. Does Carolina are they able to get a win somewhere? I don't know how the tiebreak.
Carolina could be the real spoilers, boy.
Yeah.
If they
They can post your ass off.
You
Get to
see
the
these
finish line.
you see these conferences, America East, that's a one team. Whoever wins the tournament, that's it. Nobody else is getting in there other than whoever wins. ASUN, same thing. Atlantic 10, same thing. Big East. Now the Big East looks like I would think they're going to get two, don't you think, Vin?
I think they'll get Georgetown and Denver. Yeah.
I don't
Well,
see you
Unless
guys
something
now.
unless Georgetown or especially Denver, if they falter in their Big East tournament, lose a first round game, because they'll probably be the 1 and 2 seeds.
right. But
But
don't you think that might bounce somebody anyway?
yeah,
They get bounced somebody. I
So
want to give a shout out to Jeff Goldberg.
I think there'll be a two. I think there'll be a two team division that one. Then the Big Ten. Somebody. This is either a 2 or a 3 team. Don't you think?
Yeah.
in the Big Ten, yeah.
That's going to be. Somebody's going to maybe if they only get 2 teams, somebody's leaving unhappy. I think CAA is a 1 team.
Yeah.
Then you get to the Ivy League. An Ivy League could be a 2 or a 3 team, depending.
Yeah.
And then MAC is a 1 team.
I'm looking for Sunday.
Would say a lot for the Ivy League if Cornell can beat Notre Dame this weekend on the island.
Big upset. I'm predicting the upset right now, right here. Goldstein with the winner. 13-12.
I did a little calculating. The game Sunday between Cornell and Notre Dame, right now ACC teams versus Ivy teams stands at 3-3. So that would be the deciding game. Whoever wins that game for the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Has beaten the Big Ten 6 out of 9, 6-3. And the Big Ten beat the Ivy League 4-2.
Yeah, all that stuff will, all of that will be calculated in with the RPI, or as Smalley calls it, the PSI.
PSI.
It'll all be calculated in with that, but I don't remember in the last 10 years there hasn't been some kind of surprise that some team that was kind of picked to win a conference or had the best conference record didn't win the conference tournament. It's happened every year, at least in 1 or 2 conferences. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Like I said, the most interesting is The Carolina could really be the spoiler for somebody. If Cornell can beat if Cornell can beat Notre Dame, that'll go a long way. That'll probably bolster the Ivy's rep overall. You know, the Big Ten, Maryland for a little while there, they were looking like a little bit on life support. You know, they've bounced back with some good wins, close games, but they're winning. Look, this year it's not about did you blow out a team, did you get blown out. It's about did you survive. There's so many one-goal games. I mean, look at Syracuse. They lost. They lost in overtime. You know,
3
to
games by 1
Maryland.
goal.
I mean, they've lost those games, but losses are losses. You know, you don't get credit for losing, even if you for keeping it close. It's still in the L column. They don't have a column for lost but kept it close. Don't.
Right.
But we'll see
Yeah,
what
they-
happens. It's you know, it really is going to be interesting that, you know, I think when you talk about what's going to happen conference wise and all of that and who gets in and that, I think the biggest thing for the ACC teams who do look to be the strongest to me, how they avoid each other by the seeding.
yeah.
You know, does
I
Duke want
got
to
a
have to
question.
play Virginia? You know, none of those ACC teams. If let's say four of them and Carolina's on the outs, those four teams they won't want to play another ACC team in the quarterfinals. That puts one of the ACC teams out of the picture. You know, because somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. You
Which
might
team?
get You might get two ACC teams against each other in two of the quarterfinal rounds. I don't know.
One of those
Depends
first
how what they're
pretty tough.
seeding.
Yeah. If you're one of those teams that's potentially a Syracuse or a Duke just getting in and maybe getting it, you're going to have a tough road.
Yeah,
Which team will? Hey, Vinny, I got a question, for Vinny. Which team will be the biggest disappointment in the Duke that league right there? Would it be Duke? Would it be Syracuse? The biggest disappointment if they didn't make the playoffs. If
Duke.
they
I
didn't,
think Duke.
so if Duke doesn't make the Final Four, you're saying
You
it's a
didn't say
major.
the Final Four. You said the
Playoff.
playoffs.
Oh, you got all right. Well, I'll add the Final Four in there. If they don't
Huh?
make the Final Four teams, are you saying it's a major disappointment?
Yeah, I would say if they probably couldn't get to the Final Four, it would be a major disappointment because how highly they were looked at coming into the season. That they were looked at, you know, as a team that, you know, losing last year to Notre Dame. I don't think sometimes that Notre Dame gets the respect they deserve. You know, being the defending champs, I think they did preseason have them number one, didn't they? I
Yeah,
think they won number one. You know, it's just, you know, you look at these teams. Notre Dame plays a weird schedule, so they play less games. They start later, or even if they don't start later, you know they're only up to I don't know how many games they've played. You know, some Duke is up there playing 12 and 13 games, and these teams are like 8 games, including some of the Ivies. You know, so when you got a 5 game difference, and you know I guess it's from the coach's standpoint, different philosophies, how many games they think, what gives them the best chance to win championships. Some teams want to play more games, be battle tested. Some coaches rather play less games against stronger opponents and say, you know what, that's enough battle testing and we stay healthy. Because
yeah,
it all depends who stays healthy too. You said at the beginning of this, you're down at the at the Final Four in Phoenix right now, and NC State, who went on a tremendous run, they lose their floor general Michael O'Connell, who did, you know, I mean,
came back. He showed great resilience.
he's the straw that was stirring the drink. You know, Burns is phenomenal. The other guy, DJ Burns, and the other guy Horn, you know, they all played great. But Michael added an element to that team that when they lost them in that game, that team wasn't the same. You could just see they were not the same. And so, is it possible that somebody gets injured on one of these teams? Like Kavanaugh went down yesterday going for a loose ball, right? Pat Cavanaugh, I think it was, and right away grabbed his shoulder, and I'm not sure if maybe it was him that had the off season. One of them had surgery on the shoulder. Right away I was like, oh crap, hope this kid didn't pop his shoulder out or something. But he did go back in the game. So they were lost him. God forbid, he was injured like that, and he missed the rest of the year. That team is in a whole different position without that guy playing. So, yeah, one guy doesn't make a team, but one guy's crucial to get you over the top when you
Well,
get into
here's
the
my
best of the best.
yeah, Vid. I didn't mean to cut you off here, but here's my thing. I think it's going to come down to whether the final game can Syracuse slay the Dragon against Virginia. If they win, they go in. If they lose, they go home. And Fish will be there. Oh my God. What will Fish be thinking about? The dad. What will Mr. Leo be thinking about? Oh, it's all right. And,
Here's the thing: it doesn't matter. They might have to play them the very next week again anyway.
oh, it'd
Yeah.
be great. Though. I want to sit with Fish. I want to know what is
It's
going
already-
on in his head. I love
Th-
that
th-
guy, man.
This
Hopefully,
this this college lacrosse has gotten to where it's like guys who play pickup, like we play up at Christopher Morley. It's like playing the same guys every weekend.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
You're
Oh,
getting
I
to
love the
where,
Fish family.
and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But what that's why I say, sports, that's what makes it so great. You never know what's going to happen, who's going to rise to the occasion, and have their
If
team.
I said the Fish, and then you got 2.0 is going to break. Listen, I predict right now, right here, that it's going to come down to the last game, and Fish and 2.0 will beat Virginia the last game to go into the playoffs. That's what it's coming down to. That's
Where,
what I
by the
think.
way, where are you?
You want me to go up again?
Well, why you got it pointing at the ceiling? Isn't that the idea of the thing? We're on a podcast. You show yourself. Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit lower. You're
All right,
all over
talk.
the map. You've already made 9 people have to go take Dramamine watching this thing. They're
That's all
getting
right.
nauseous with your
Go
thing moving all over the place.
sure.
So
Go inside.
I know Smalley likes this.
Now he's
So
rocking. Look at
I
him.
want
Look at
to.
him. I don't know. It's like, listen, this is like we went to the zoo and there's a monkey in a cage running around.
I've been gone for 15
What the hell is
motherfucking
going
days
on?
with
It's
no
like
water, nothing. I'm living on fucking teardrops and bird flu juice.
Bird
Oh,
flu
fuck.
juice. You just told me you had the greatest stack of pancakes and sausage links in the history of your life.
I
And
did.
you've eaten them 4 days in a row. Maybe the pancakes are getting to you.
I don't know, but I keep eating them. I keep getting up. I'm fucking dead. Oh my God. I tell you though, today all the Purdue fans are ready to go, man. Everyone is here. Everyone, I think, from the state of Chicago, right? Purdue's in Chicago, aren't they? I forget where they are. Where is Purdue?
Smalls. At some point in this, we'll go back to lacrosse. At some point, we're gonna have to pick a winner. You're gonna have to stay on one team. You can't keep picking every team and say you got it right. You got to
They,
sooner or later.
But
Who was
you
who
can't
was
go
your?
by
You said in the beginning of the season. You told me it was Dukes to
you.
lose.
Right.
Didn't he say that? It's
Yeah.
Dukes to lose, is what he
Yeah.
said.
that's
Yeah.
what I said.
Okay, so
Listen,
stay with your
You can't.
prediction.
You can't
here's
go
my-
by.
win it
You can't
all.
go too much by
Win
his
it all.
prediction. Right now, just to give you an idea, I'm 50. I had a good week. I'm 57 and 46 for the season. Vinny's 5 games behind me, 52 and 51, just over.
I'm barely over 50%.
Right. And then Smalley is sitting at 47 and 56.
Oh, oh
That's
boy.
without thinking. I'm close to you guys. Without even
Without what? Without what?
without even thinking. Just
Oh.
picking up.
Well, you should start thinking because you're so
All
far below. It's scary.
right, let's move on here. What
Well, I like this section because this is a Smalley section. He loves this. He loves this. So I want to see maybe if you can see this video I'm about to play. See if I can. This is the Tawaraton watch list. Oh, we got a what do you call it? We got a little ad. I hate these ads.
He's made a career off plays like that. And a huge
Number
score
one,
for two.
Brennan O'Neill.
Valentini and Barons are
Number
Browns
two,
6.
Matt Brandau.
Kibe on the run. Brandau connects.
Number three, Schellenberger.
Schellenberger. In front, he shoots, he scores. Connor Schellenberger makes history.
Chips, and if you talk to Connor Schellenberger, the first thing he would do is give credit to his teammates. You know, that's
focused on adding to a 3-2 run right now. And the jump shot.
Enterman.
Extra pass. Oh, my gosh. Was that a save? That calm mind? But what we've seen is never.
So those are they put 5, and then 6 they put Cursed.
Right.
7 they put Kavanaugh.
Right.
8 Zappatello. 9 Sam King from Harvard, and 10 they have Joey Spallina 2.0 in the list. Now, when I look at this, are they underestimating Pat Kavanaugh? Are they not giving this guy his fair share?
Yeah, giving him his fair due. All they do is win.
I think they're underestimating Enterman too.
Yeah. Well,
I think I don't know if they win out and they were able to win another championship. If there's ever going to be a defensive player to get this award, this would be the time. I mean, we know everybody loves scoring, and everybody, it normally goes to guys who do the scoring.
100%.
It's like the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's but this guy, look, to me, when you talk to Heisman, normally it's quarterbacks more than anything, I think. I don't know the exact number, but it's either quarterback or running back. So that's who wins it. But, in lacrosse, to me, guys always say, "Oh, who would you pick if you had your own team? Who would you pick?" I always say, "Give me the best goalie." I like to start my team with the best goalie because goalie's the game changer to me, and then from there pick a team. But if you got a guy that can stop the ball and create outlets, create breaks by making saves, change momentum of games, have the other team so afraid to, they're only shooting for corners, so their shooting percentage drops because they get intimidated by a stopper. To me, the goalie is the key guy in lacrosse. And if this guy continues doing what he's doing, I mean, if they're ever going to give this award to a defensive guy, could be him.
And they might not give it to a defensive guy. My point about Kavanaugh is, like, it's 7. The guys on the national championship team, they're looking like they can go very far again, and you still have them at 7?
Yeah. No, I think his again, they play less games, but I think his points per game average is probably top 5. I'm just guessing.
And I think that they
with a very difficult schedule too.
But like Vin, I don't think what they're counting. I don't know if they're looking just at points and that.
No,
when you
listen.
look at Pat Kavanaugh, it's those intangibles that really.
No, what we look at.
I mean, right. That's a guy he's impacting every game he's in so many different ways that I think if they went on to win the championship, I don't know how they could not give it to Pat Kavanaugh.
Well, you guys are going on what you know. This might be new criteria now for things, how they pick and how they get to those numbers and who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you guys are not looking at that criteria the way they're looking at it.
Smalls, it's supposed to be the best player in the country. So, I mean, obviously always the winning teams are who many times get those.
Why do you pick offense and not defense? Why is it always?
That's just the way it's always been.
Shouldn't be like that. Stop picking defense.
So in the Heisman Trophy football, I think Rod Woodson's the only guy who ever won the Heisman as a defensive player ever. So But I just don't think. I think Kavanaugh's getting a little slighted there. I think he should be higher on that list based on them being number one and based
Yeah, I
on,
don't disagree with that.
you know.
I'm with you. I said it from the start of this broadcast. I said both him and his brother, they set a tone for that team that makes them play with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got one question. Coach of the year. We didn't throw that in. If you had to end it right
Okay,
now,
that's a good one.
Coach of the year right now, I gotta go with I gotta give it to him. Right now, I gotta go with the Notre Dame coach again. He doesn't get notoriety like that, but you know, he doesn't get the X's and O's. He can't do it. I'm going with the Notre Dame coach as coach of the year. What say you, Steven?
I'm actually gonna say Gary Gate. I'm going to say Gate. I mean, he's brought them to relevance at this point. They were much better than I thought they would be this year. I still think, even though I think they're on a little bit of trouble, they're on a little bit of thin ice. I think they can get out of it, and I do think they're as strong as anybody. So he's the future looks bright. The question's going to be is can he replace those two fifth-year midfielders? Because he's
Vincenzo,
going
what
to
do you
have to
think,
have a couple.
Vincenzo?
What I think,
Fuck are you doing? What's going on with you? Got a
I'm trying
music
to look.
box there?
I was trying to look something up. I mean, I thought that look, I think you gotta. You're asking me in mid to 70% of the season being over. You
Stop
know, if you would
stuttering, Vinny. Get to the
if
point.
if you would have asked, the point is, all I'm looking at is the ceiling. Again, you're not even on camera. You can't stay on camera for two
I had
minutes.
ADD as a kid,
I
goddamn.
mean, this is like
Don't
so.
make fun of ADD, kid.
If you asked me 3 weeks ago, I would say Joe Alberici had them undefeated, won a game
Yeah,
in the dome, and
that's a
they
good
were
thing.
rolling good. Now they lost a couple of games. Maybe he comes down a notch or two. But Steven makes a point about a guy who's brought a team back that was a little bit obviously below their standard. The team has been below their standards for a few years now, but they're back in the hunt. But yeah, I would say you'd have to consider Gary. I guess you would have to consider. I mean, I think he does a great job at Notre Dame. Although they were like one of the favorites. When you ask me coach of the year, I also look at like who was a team that's not supposed to be there.
Well, what about from Hopkins there? He's done a
Yeah,
great
listen,
job too.
Hopkins, they're doing a great job. That look to me when you say coach of the year,
Got
I
any
think
more
that
committees?
coach. I think
Take
coach of the
video
year.
of all the committees.
I think that coach of the year is built on not only that head coach, but it's by committee. I think you have to have good assistants and everything else that go with
Well,
it.
give us your
That's why
pick, Vinny. Give us your one pick. And
I
don't pick
told you
Bill
a few
Tierney.
guys. I told you a few guys.
Don't
I
pick Bill
told
Tierney. He's not coaching anymore, Vin.
no, he's not coaching.
Give
But
me your one guy. Give me your
He's
one guy
coaching
and
the
stick
pro
to it.
league.
if I had to cast my vote for one guy
Yes,
right
one guy.
now,
Give it to me. I can't hear him.
I'm
He
thinking.
went.
I,
Oh,
I, I don't I don't just throw out names and change the next
you
week
look
and the
like the
next
Michigan
and the next.
coach right now with
I'm
glasses.
thinking. I look like Harbaugh. I wish I had his
You
money.
look like Bill Harborough.
Coach of the year. Yeah.
G G G G G G G G G G. Ah,
Coach
what
of the
makes the guy
year.
laugh?
I'll go with. How about? I'll go with Corrigan right now.
Whoa, Vinny! Oh my God, you're gonna take heat for that. I won't get into that, but you'll take heat for that. Vinny, I got a funny question for you. You gotta add a little flavor here. You know I'm going to mess it up, and I love this guy dearly. He's an announcer. He is my all-time favorite announcer. He puts energy into the game like no other. I'm going to mess his name up, and I apologize. I love him dearly, but I'm going to and you can't hesitate. You say you know the guy. I'm going to ask you the spelling, and you got like 8 seconds to do it. You got to say his name after I say it and spell it. Cacciatera.
Oh boy. Well, if I spell it how you said it, it would have to be C
You got
A
eight
R
seconds. Go.
C H. I have to put a CH in there somewhere. Koch. Koch or what? Koch or Terra.
Cacciatera. Ready, go.
What
You
did you
lose. He
call
does
him?
not spell it. 6, Go ahead. 5, 4,
CARCATVRA.
3,
I gave it to you.
2. Vinny, is it right?
It's right.
All right, all right. All right, all right. I give you credit. I'm sorry, but I
Oh,
do love that guy. Just a little shout out to him, Vinny. I know he's your boy. You know him, guys. I never seen anybody put passion into that game. He's an amazing announcer. I love that guy. I'd like to meet him. I'd like to sit with that guy one day and have a cup of coffee or something and really pick his brain, man. The guy
We're gonna
really.
bring him. We're gonna bring him on as soon as you get off the ceiling.
Oh, all right, all right. Hey, Vin, I'd like to give away 3 tickets. I'd like to talk to Conchitera, give 3 tickets away for somebody who wants to come to the Final Four on behalf of our company to come and spend time in the box. We have a suite at the Final Four, and Koch can help us. I'll just say Koch because I can't say it. What's his nickname? Koch? Koch?
caulk.
Koch. Oh, you mother. That's
CARC. Caulk.
fucking spells like cork. Fuck you with your Koch. All right, so I like to give away three
Oh,
seats
God.
to people who've never made it, and maybe he can go on air, and we can give away 3 seats to people that never were able to come to the finals. It'd be just a nice story. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Nice.
What else, Steven?
No, that's it. We're gonna have a bit. Later in the week, we'll get our picks out. We'll see the games. There's a lot of great games.
Oh,
That game in Long
you
Island.
got 2. You got Cornell versus Notre Dame on the island.
Yes.
You got Duke, Virginia this weekend.
Yes.
So those are probably the 2
Well,
premier games.
Sunday
Who's
games,
Michigan playing?
and then you got Hopkins, Ohio State on that. Those are Sunday games. Cornell, Notre Dame, Virginia, Duke, and Hopkins, Ohio State. Before that, you got the Saturday night. You got Maryland and Rutgers. You got some Ivy games. You got Princeton playing Brown. You got Syracuse playing North Carolina, and that's obviously a very important game. So
We did our picks yet?
and Harvard. No, we'll get them. We'll get them later in the week, and we'll post them up. You guys have a lot of work to do to catch me. Once again, I'm just
Yeah. That, by the way, that Cornell,
Hold on, Vinny. Hold on. That wasn't nice, Vinny. You were never. That's why I always said I like you, but I like Steven better because he's really doing well, and I don't think he's getting his accolades like he should. I congratulate Steven. I'm not happy that he's winning because I like to be the guy on top because you guys kill me, but the guy's picking the games. I think I don't know if cheating or whatever, where he's getting this stuff from.
Were you here 20 minutes ago when he gave himself his own accolades? He said, "I'm in first place again," and he told you his record and everything. He didn't get his accolades. What are you talking about?
I would say it would be like a rivalry, but it's only a rivalry if somebody else wins. I won last college season. I won the pro season. I'm winning the college season again.
Yeah, we have the most consistent thing. You finish first, I finish second, and Smalley's always last.
Pretty much.
But things have changed. I won the week last week. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Hey guys, let me chime in. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Caulk. I'm gonna call Caulk once a week. I'm gonna consult with Caulk, and maybe my stats will go up if I can learn a little bit of ins and outs.
That's what you should do.
Maybe he'll give me some tips, and I can overtake you guys with a little bit of inside information.
Well, maybe what we could do is when we invite him on, we could ask him how he does his analysis and how he picks these teams. Listen, just because he definitely knows what he's talking about, but I don't know how good he'd be with the spread.
No,
the spread is the difference. We're not picking games who's going to win or lose. We're picking games with a spread.
Yeah, but you guys had instant. Hold on, all due respect, Vinny. You got inside information, and you talk to all coaches, everybody during the week, ins and outs. Who's hurt? Who's injured?
What? You're making him like he's Ace Rosenthal over there.
I don't speak to anybody.
Now all of a sudden he doesn't know anybody. Typical mobster. He don't know anybody. Costa Nostra, Vinny. All right.
Oh God. Oh man.
Vinny.
Lots of good games.
Oh, we lost Vinny. Vinny, give me one of your funny things.
No GGG today. No GGG. We got to bring G on to pump it up though.
All right.
What
Well,
else,
who do you
Steven?
want?
We
Who do you want to
done?
give a shout out today? Give a special shout out.
A special shout out to Mr. G.
No, anybody who you want. Somebody you haven't mentioned. Maybe like Paul Gate, Gary Gate, Snuffleupagus. Anybody you want to do?
I'll give a shout out to a a John Gagliotti. He reached out,
Oh,
sent a text. We have to
did you
get
get
him
me a pair of
on
shoes?
there.
I'm dying
Always,
here. Look,
always a
those
fun.
shoes. Look at my feet.
Always. Oh God, please don't.
Don't show us your feet, please.
Right. Always a
I'll give
fun
a
guy.
shout out to Brendan Schneck from Hopkins, baby.
Oh,
Brendan Schneck, some of the finest skills in the game. How about Richie Moon? Big Moon Dog. Oh, man.
You started to give a shout out to Goldberg before. We should say that Kate Goldberg he's been put into the lineup. He's having a good effect. I think
Yeah.
he's actually second on the team in assists at Georgetown right now. And he's a
wow.
midi. So that's pretty impressive. Tells you he's playing the game right. And, they look like they have some confidence in him. And since he's been in there, they haven't lost a game.
Hey, Steven, how can we get our first, somebody who has a big company, how can we get some people to start advertising just because who we are? Throw us money our way. And then we could
We're just happy people. We're just happy people are listening.
but I want to get kids. I want to get some kids to come to the
We gotta
the
get
Final
some. We
Four.
gotta get some guests. We gotta get some guests on. Yes, we gotta put out. We'll figure out some sort of contest or something we could put out that we can post so that you can give those tickets away. I think that would be a great kind of.
I want to take 3 kids. I mean, maybe 3 grandparents. Somebody who's never seen a Final Four, and I want to talk to Cork. If we give 3 tickets away to some grandparents, I'll fly them in. I'll do whatever I got to do to get them at the Final Four. Whether it's a money issue for a parent, maybe some,
And we might have some. I think Hofstra plays Yale next a week from this Tuesday. I think.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Yes.
We might have to have some live video from the box up at Hofstra.
Oh, boy, that'd be an event.
We could have somebody set up real stuff there, too. It's not hard. The Drexel, they play Drexel. I want to give a shout out to, Hofstra University, man. Maybe they get back there during. They got to win out. They get into the playoffs. It'd be a nice thing for our local team that I sponsor and that I love and has been giving back to me all these years.
They can do it.
Tanny, shout out to Tanny, my boy Tanny, his son Ryan, great Long Island family. And that's it. Rocking and rolling.
Well,
Get ready.
I'm glad we were able to get this episode in with Smalls all the way out in Phoenix. Got to see his pool.
The weather's great here, man. It's dry. It's about 76 today. Really is really, really wonderful place. It really is.
Well, enjoy the event. You'll probably be one of the few guys that'll be at both the lacrosse and basketball Final Fours and championship games.
Yeah, well.
So,
What he does. What he does.
He does do it.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I'm looking really forward to getting 4 more courtside seats next year for St. John's. This way I'll have 8. I got 4 now. I get 4 more. I'll have Bill Murray, his son. I'll have a
St.
cast of
John's
crew
going to
members.
make a run next year. St. John's is going to make a
They
run.
can do it. Every team can turn the corner. Look at what Syracuse has done. I remember we were in Florida and we were, that unfortunately wasn't on tape because that was hysterical. But we were picking the top 10, and Smalls said Syracuse is in there, and I scoffed at him. I actually said, "Come on, they've been so down. They're not going anywhere." But it didn't take me long to see with Fish and with Spallina and with these the 50-year guys, they're for real. Listen, they've lost games, but think about it. 1-goal games. They easily could have won each one of those games, And even Notre Dame, they hung in there. So they've been in every game. They're a team that, I'm sure a lot of teams hope Syracuse is out. I'm sure a lot of teams don't want to have to play them, and let the haters hate because they're going to.
I'm giving away a free jacket this week to some member How would we do that? I want to give away something free every week on the podcast. We'll
All right,
pick somebody. Let's pick somebody today. Who we'll go with Vinny could do it.
we're gonna do a pot. We'll do a. I'm gonna put something up. We'll do a contest for most
All right, we'll
creative
do that too. But I
performance.
want to do something. That's a good idea, Steve. But I want to do something special on behalf of Vinny because he's got 5 decades in the game and he's given so much back. He's an analyst. He makes fun of a guy with ADD who still has it, but I still love him. I won't judge him. You know, I got ADD as a grown up. That's okay. I want to send out a nice gift to somebody to be a super surprise. Vinny, pick a guy who you love. I want to send out, we'll get his size and whatever college he played for, we're going to send out him a nice piece of apparel and we're just going to surprise him. Who may that person you'd like to send out to? And we'll get his address and we'll send him a beautiful garment for himself. Who may that be on behalf of the show today?
We'll make a question. Vinny will make a question. We'll post it, and we'll see all the responses.
Well, we'll do that next time, but we'll
He
pick
wants-
one now.
I got a guy for you
Oh, he's got a guy.
who I'm going to see, at the game this weekend, who hasn't been living back in New York that long. He was out west for a long time. One of the greatest players in the game, national champion, an All-American, and at every level he played, and a guy who taught me a lot how to play the game.
What?
Billy Marino of Cornell.
Billy Marino!
And he will be at the Cornell Notre Dame game.
Wow, then I'm going to get it ready now. I'm going to start
Get
doing
it
it now.
ready. Give him a little Cornell.
Vinny
gear
will
to be happy.
inaugurate him. What size is he?
I would say large is okay for him.
Where did he go to college? Cornell?
Cornell.
Oh, my God. How do you spell his name, Vinny?
M-A-R-I.
If he's
How many
putting his
slices
name,
can he
if he's
eat in an
putting a
hour?
name on this garment, I hope he does better than Cha-Cha-Cha-Chara.
Yeah, don't put chocolate chair,
No, come on, guys. Give me a break. All right.
Billy Marino.
All right, so he's a large. We're gonna do an inauguration for Billy. I'll bring a nice thing with me, and I'll put just the flag. I'll do the Cornell. I'll give him a nice quarter zip from North Face. A large. Vinny, you sure large? He's not an XL, right? They run
He's
big.
large. He's large is good for him.
Okay, so I do that. I give him the flag on the back and the little Cornell and the little Cornell on the left chest. And you think a number? No number, right, Vince?
You don't need the number, but he was number 8. He wore number 8, Billy.
Okay, wow. All right, that's see, we got something nice for this week. All right, guys, I love it. You guys do a great job.
Have a safe trip
Smalls,
back.
enjoy the game
Enjoy the
tonight.
game.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy
I
the
love
game.
you. See you
You'll
later.
be
Signing
with the
off.
Connecticut people.
Thank you, bros. Thank you.
Take care. Take care. Bye-bye.